Hello everyone, I'm Etienne. I'm a German who permanently lives in Cyprus. My wife and I, we have our house near Paphos and we were interested in getting solar panels installed on our roof to save on our electricity bills. Electricity is quite expensive in Cyprus and the yield from a solar system is quite high compared to other countries. That's because of our location on the map and the fact that we have 320 days of sunshine per year here. A solar system, depending on your electricity usage and the price you pay for the system, may pay for itself after 4 or 5 years of use, and they have a lifetime of over 20 years. Also, from an environmental perspective, it makes a lot of sense to use solar power as it is a renewable energy source, and in Cyprus, most electricity is still produced by burning fossil fuels. So it makes a lot of sense to get a solar system in Cyprus, but let me tell you, it's easier said than done. In this video, I will give you 5 points you have to be aware of before you get a solar PV system installed in Cyprus. First, rules and regulations, or HK is the boss. You need to understand that there's a lot of rules and regulations you need to follow so you can legally install and use a solar system in Cyprus. All of those rules can be followed if you know them, but you should be aware of them. And to make it short, the electricity authority is basically the boss and you need to apply with them to be allowed to install and use the solar system. The application fee for that is 250 euros plus VAT, and you need to provide some documents, for example the title deeds and plans of your property to prove that it's actually your home and that it is legally constructed. Then they will determine how big of a system you are allowed to install. To do that, they will look at your last 6 bills, or what they call consumption periods, and they will calculate your average yearly consumption based on this and then allow you up to 90% of that consumption as maximum amount of installed power in kilowatt peak for your system. There's also an upper limit that is allowed for residential houses, and that is 10.4 kilowatt peak. As an example, if you consume 10,000 kilowatt hours in the yearly time frame they look at, you are allowed to install a system with 9,000 kilowatt peak. This has to do with the net metering scheme that we will talk about now. Second, understanding the net metering agreement. In Cyprus, most residential PV installations use the net metering scheme. The contracts that set the rules for this scheme are available for download at the Electricity Authority's website, but they are available in Greek only. So as a first little gimmick for you, I had a sworn translator from Greece translate the net metering agreement offered by the Electricity Authority into English so you can actually read what you are signing. I'm happy to share this translation with you. I put the link for it in the video description below. The contract has 15 pages and has a lot of regulative jargon, so I will not go over it here, but I will give you some points I think you need to understand. The net metering agreement means that your solar system is installed on your roof and connected to the public electricity network. You also get a two-way electricity meter installed, and you will continue to use your electricity as before from the public grid. And when you do that, your meter will count up just like it always did. But at the same time, your PV solar system produces electricity, and that is fed into the public electricity network, and your meter will count that produced electricity as well, giving you a credit that you can use for your own consumption. So at the end of the billing cycle, the electricity produced is subtracted from the electricity you consumed, and you only pay the consumption that exceeds your production. If your PV system produces more electricity than you use yourself, you do not get any money. Instead, you get electricity credits that are rolled over to the next bill. Once a year, with your March-April bill, the credit that was rolled forward will be set to 0. So when you have produced more than you have consumed yourself, up until that point, you will lose the credits and you will not be paid anything for them. So the important learning here is you shouldn't install a system that constantly produces more than you consume for the foreseeable future. And if you don't live in your house permanently, take that into account as well. Which leads us to the next point. Third, plan the size of your system according to your consumption. How much electricity your system produces depends on many factors, like the number of panels and the capacity of each single panel, but also on the tilt of the roof and its direction. So it is not possible to give a general answer to the question, how much will my specific system produce, without knowing the exact details of your situation. But as a rule of thumb, you can assume that a system in Cyprus can produce between 1,500 and 1,700 kilowatt hours per installed kilowatt. This is a very good value if you compare it to many other countries. For example, in Germany, the same system would yield only 900 to 1,000 kilowatt hours per installed kilowatt. So this can give you a rough idea what you can expect in terms of yield. Let's say you use 1,000 kilowatt hours electricity per month. That would be 12,000 kilowatt hours per year. And if we assume you get 1,500 out of each installed kilowatt, then we would need approximately 12,000 divided by 1,500, which is 8. So you will roughly need an 8 kilowatt system to cover that consumption. Now again, this is just a very rough estimate, and your solar installation company will give you a much more detailed estimate, taking into account the specific direction of your roof, the tilt, and stuff like that. But this gives you a rough idea. Point 4, your system will not save you from a blackout. The reason for this is when the network is down, your system is also down. 5, compare installation companies. I realized it is very important to get multiple offers when shopping for a solar system. When I requested quotes from different solar system installers, I got wildly differing quotations. For our 7 kilowatt system, I got quotes ranging from 7,000 euros up to 12,000 euros. And the surprising thing was the most expensive company used equipment which could have been seen as inferior to the equipment offered by even the cheapest company. So it became clear to me that prices vary a lot and you have to compare before you make your decision. But the process of getting quotes and comparing is not digitalized here at all. So you have to call, you have to explain every installation company from scratch what you want. Maybe you don't speak Greek and they don't speak good English. So you do that, then you wait a couple of days, and if you're lucky, you get a quote. You do that 4 or 5 times with different suppliers, and now you can finally start to compare. But this process of doing things is really burdensome and kind of broken. So one idea I have is that I would like to make the process easier for people in Cyprus and create a tool to request multiple quotes from different suppliers at once. I plan to make this service available totally free for consumers and without any commitment. I intend to finance this by charging the installation companies a small fee to be listed on this service at a later date if it is successful. I will put up this tool together with all my learnings on a website at www.cyprussolarguide.com. My plan is to create a go-to resource for people like me, English-speaking residents that want to get a solar system and want to compare different suppliers and get the best deal possible. This is a side project from me, so it will not all be there by tomorrow, but piece by piece I will put it together, and maybe I can even interview some experts so we can learn together from them. Until then, I wish you all a sunny day and see you soon.